What's happening, folks? Back with another reaction, back with some more acid trance, and we're going back to Eve Records, but we're not actually going to listen to a tune by Pablo Gargano, though we are going to listen to a tune he engineered and I assume sort of assisted with the production of. We're going to listen to a tune by his friend David Craig. I mentioned it before. An artist you see on Eve increasingly as the label goes along, as well as on a couple EPs entirely his own on Telica. I think a few actually, not just a couple. I have them all, we'll go through those eventually. But yeah, he's an artist, I believe, from Northern Ireland. Pablo spent some time there after growing up in Italy. And I think that's where he met not only David Craig, I think Simon Eve, the one who was sort of like running the label that was Pablo's primary output. I think he actually comes from Italy as well, but I do believe he met David Craig, did Pablo, in Northern Ireland. And it's interesting, this record is anomalous. This is from 1996, it's Eve 11, so, you know, relatively still very early on. But unlike all other Eve records from that period, it has a sticker on it, which clearly indicates the artist and the track titles. So I have a theory about this. And the theory is, you know, Pablo Gargano is the main artist on the first like 25 Eve records. They're mostly his releases, all the tracks on all the releases, except for a few. Again, David Craig. There's like 2 or 3 in the first 25 that are not Pablo, and I think they're all David Craig. Regardless, Pablo clearly, you know, his first album, Senza Volto, Without Face, he was adamant, you know, throughout his like real like legendary period on Eve. None of the records had his name on it, or the track names, a little more annoying. But bottom line, he clearly wanted it to be about the tracks, the music. He wanted people to buy the records not because the same name was going to be on all these records, which I really respect. I absolutely respect that. So I think that the reason this has a sticker, which it's not like part of the sleeve, and is from an era where, you know, Pablo would continue to release records on Eve without his name on it, you know, into the late 90s. So, you know, well after this. So what I think is that Pablo generally didn't want to put his name on records because, again, it was about the tunes he was making, not, you know, making a name for himself per se. But I think because he wanted his friend to get credit for the excellent tracks that are on this release, and again, 1 or 2 others in the first, you know, kind of classic run of Eve Records, I think they were like, you know what, we're going to put a sticker on this one, and we're going to make sure people, you know who you are, know that you've made this cool track, and so on. So I think from, you know, I have no way to prove the theory, or I guess, you know, someone with knowledge might comment, but at the end of the day, my assumption is that Pablo wanted to keep his name out of the tracks on Eve, but because this was by his friend, I think he wanted to get his friend some credit. So, yeah, I think that's what that's about. Could be wrong, but anyway, we're going to listen to one of David Craig's most famous tunes. It's called Lord of the Universe. It's a fast, like, driving acid trance tune, just classic Eve hard trance, and again, because it's engineered by Pablo, you can feel the, you know, kick drum sort of overall atmosphere of a Pablo Gargano tune, even though it's David Craig. Now the other tune on the other side, Come On, I think it's called the, what is it, Sabrina Sofa Mix. Is it Mix? Yeah, I think it's Mix. Either way, that's a very different tune. That is more on the kind of like melodic side of Eve hard / acid trance. But this one is definitely a driving, you know, like serious, like, you know, 12 a.m., like midnight sort of track, like peak of a hard trance party sort of tune. So with no more setup, this is David Craig, Lord of the Universe on Eve 11, as I said, engineered by Pablo. I'm not sure which side it is because it actually doesn't say it like on the record, so 1 second. Yep, this is it. Alright, so Lord of the Universe, David Craig, 1996. Dog out there is excited. Definitely a tune you can use to open a set. I believe I have done so. At least 1 or 2 of my SoundCloud mixes over the years. Needling acid bass coming in. Phasing in and out. like really floaty and so on, but then that really sort of like grounds the track. The kick drum, the kick drum. Hi-hats are nice. Oh, the extra bass line. Mostly bite, but also some elegance. The acid melody, man. The real acid fireworks are still coming. Love the elevation and intensification of the melody, and now the staccato ifying of the melody, the flaying of the melody. Acid. beauty and the beast track. It's got elegance and melody, but it's got drive and Yep, it's a tune. It's a major track. Once again, like I have several of David Craig's tunes. Some of them, like the ones in Telica, are really really good. And again, they're in the same idiom. Like they're on Telica, but they could very well be on Eve. But I think of his tunes on Eve proper, this might be my favorite. There's maybe one or two on the Telica releases that I think might exceed it. But yeah, in terms of just straightforward, on fire, but also atmospheric acid trance, it's just a masterclass. So take about David Craig. Big ups to Pablo again. You can tell he had a hand in that, just some of the sounds, the kick drum, and so on. But yeah, bottom line, it's a fantastic tune. Do let me know what you think. More David Craig reactions to come. So yeah, let me know what you think. I will see you next time. Peace.